Hello. It's your boy Kent Brindley, counting down my top 10 favorite M.A.S.K vehicles. I'm building my own M.A.S.K garage. Well, yeah, providing I had the funds for that, but yes. M.A.S.K was an animated series that came out of DeK Animation out of Canada, or France, excuse me. DeK was out of France, I think. They had a Kenner toy line. It basically combined the best parts of Transformers via the transforming vehicles and G.I. Joe via the human specialists and agents. The acronym was Mobile Armored Strike Kommand, and they went up against the machinations of Miles Mayhem and the vicious Evil Network of, well, Mayhem. I'm not the one who can make this stuff up. So what is a fellow to do when he grew up watching this? I've done enough top 10 episodes, and I've seen enough of these episodes on DVD as an adult now that I might be able to scrounge up 6, 7, top 6, 7 list, and that just makes zero sense whatsoever. That plus the favorite M.A.S.Ks were done brilliantly and very recently by another YouTuber. So I'm building my own M.A.S.K garage. I am going to build my own M.A.S.K garage. That is where we're heading today. Alright. Glad you're here to join me on this little trip. Yeah, a huge part of M.A.S.K were the transforming vehicles that M.A.S.K and V.E.N.O.M both used. And I'm telling you right now, Gator is off the list from the M.A.S.K side because it's just an awful vehicle, and Switchblade is off the list from V.E.N.Om's side because I was never that impressed with it either. So join with me now, and all right, let's get things started here. All right. Number 10, V.E.N.O.M motorcycle and submersible sidecar. Vehicle code name Piranha. Piranha. Whew. This was my favorite vehicle of V.E.N.Om's when I was little. What went wrong? What went wrong looking back at this as an adult? The problem with Piranha was the same problem that Gator had. Gator shot the body of the Jeep out to become, well, Gator shot the control panel of the Jeep out to become a boat. The body had to stay put. It somehow wound up back in the garage somehow. Piranha, submersible sidecar. The sidecar shoots, the cycle stays put. So either Rax is carrying a passenger, or someone who can sub in to drive Piranha, or Piranha is just teleporting from place to place at Rax's leisure. Or in failure, Piranha has to literally get out of the water backwards, and Rax has to mount the cycle again with his tail between his legs. So where did Piranha go right? Its pilot, Slyrax, was definitely one of the best cartoon henchmen of the 1980s. The voice, the design, the personality. Slyrax was enough to carry Piranha when I was little. Anyway. Number 9. We're not only moving on to number 9, we were switching sides. Number 9. M.A.S.K, motorcycle and helicopter. Vehicle code name, Condor. Condor. It's a green motorcycle with helicopter blades that come out the bottom of it when the wheel flips up. Very simplistic. And it's in its simplicity that it makes number 9. I get it. As a toy. As the toy, it works great. You can't possibly break anything on Kenner's toy version of Condor. You flip out the back wheel, the little helicopter blades come up from the bottom, and the helicopter landing gear automatically comes down. I digress. What helped Condor make the list? Brad Turner. He was a rock star and an expert helicopter and motorcycle pilot. That's awesome. Every time he was called into action, he'd be in the middle of a concert. That's just how cool Brad Turner was. Cool enough to save Condor. Alright. Number 8, M.A.S.K. M.A.S.K, pickup, empty tank, vehicle code name, Firecracker. Firecracker. For continuity, Firecracker was the only vehicle that was destroyed and remained destroyed. For continuity sake. Firecracker was a bright orange pickup truck that could convert into a tank, a high-rise tank. I mean, it's feasible. I'm just more into cars and motorcycles than I am into trucks. And again, if this is my top 10 list of M.A.S.K vehicles, I'm pretending to build the garage. Apparently the garage can hold 10 vehicles, so apparently this is Boulder Hill, M.A.S.K headquarters. Again, what saves the vehicle? The co-pilot, Buddy Hawks, master of disguise, intelligence. This time the co-pilot kind of saves the vehicle. Hondo McLean, weapons specialist, field strategist. He was awesome. He was great. He was everyone's favorite history teacher because he'd get called into action and class would immediately be dismissed. He was a very popular teacher. Well, to be fair, Firecracker had this really cool little spare tire that it would launch into a giant saw blade, or at least the toy version had a little dirt bike that it carried with it. I don't remember this being used in the series, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Number 7, V.E.N.O.M 4x4 and tank. Vehicle code name, Jackhammer. Jackhammer. Yes. I'm pretty sure they actually called it a Ford Bronco in the comic books. least one of the comics. But I mean, Jack Hammer had an awesome transformation. It was a giant black it was a black 4x4 van that would turn into a tank with mounted gun turrets. Sometimes it would be for Cliff Dagger to not only control the guns up there, but to steer from up there as well. At least once he was carrying Warfield as a passenger, and she could control the guns while he steered. I don't even know. But it's just a great vehicle. Driven by the biggest klutz and imbecile on Venom's payroll. Jack Hammer deserved better. Number 6, M.A.S.K 57 Chevy and tank. Vehicle code name Hurricane. Hurricane. Excellent. It was a 57 Chevy that replaced Firecracker after Firecracker was damaged and remained destroyed after the events of the Matter of Gravity. Now, where continuity kind of wavers is that the opening credits to M.A.S.K always showed Hurricane, no matter which episode this was, and Hurricane wasn't introduced until the tail end of episode something like 31, 32. Excellent episode, though. And Hurricane is a great vehicle. I just prefer its design over Firecrackers. Again, I'm a car guy, not a truck guy. Number 5, Venom, Porsche, Jet, vehicle code name, Manta. Manta. Yes. Manta not only turned into a jet, but it turned into a sealed jet, a sealed cockpit jet, so it was at least safe. More on this in a few minutes. Just a lovely transformation, and Manta had a lovely pilot. Hello, Vanessa Warfield. Vicious, vindictive, and venomous. Vanessa. Yeah, Manta was kind of a difficult vehicle to get a hold of too, and I finally found it on eBay at a fair price and swooped it up just before I then sold all of my M.A.S.K vehicles, where I'd have them as models for everything I was talking about. Yeah, that was... I should have filmed this about 10 years ago when I was still sitting on my M.A.S.K collection. Wait a minute. Was Manta a Porsche or was it a Nissan? I meant to look this up too. Anyway, it was just a great vehicle. Excellent vehicle driven by Venom. And it made sense as a jet because, again, it was sealed cockpit and we knew the driver was safe. But I digress. I'll get back to that point later. Number 4, M.A.S.K, semi-rig, and command center. Vehicle code name, Rhino. Rhino was never my favorite vehicle. But you have to admit that it was basically the face of M.A.S.K. Oh, the body of M.A.S.K. That was the face of M.A.S.K. Bruce Sato and Alex Sector, when it wasn't Bruce and Matt, piloted Rhino in a vast majority of episodes because its transformation was basically the mobile command center. It was a great vehicle. It was just never one of my favorites because, again, I just never cared for the design. But it does get extra brownie points for being seated right on top of the name M.A.S.K, so it's the M.A.S.K logo. Extra points for that. Alright. Number 3, M.A.S.K, Corvette, and Seaplane. Vehicle code name, Raven. Raven. The only M.A.S.K vehicle I ever purchased firsthand when I was little. I think it was part of the second wave of vehicles, maybe even the third. Hang on, by the third were we getting into the racing series? Yeah, I think it was second series of vehicles. Whatever it was, Raven wasn't even introduced until well over episode 40 out of 65. I mean, like Firefly or Slingshot or Volcano, all of a sudden Deke realized that Kenner was coming out with all kinds of vehicles to line toy shelves with, and they needed to do something with it. Yet Raven makes the list though because it was the only one that I actually purchased firsthand and delicately and lovingly unwrapped just before I sent it careening down a wooden ramp and right into the side of one of my G.I. Joe vehicles. No, I promise I took good care of all of my figures and all my toys. Calhoun Burns, though, was definitely a cool character. He definitely complimented Raven. And I mean, it was easy enough to transform. Well, easy enough. I mean, I was 4 when I got it, so it only took me a little bit. And it even came with, I think, 2 or 3 little round red buzzsaw discs that you just shot out like projectiles, and then at 4 or 5 years old promptly lost. Yeah, I had some good times with Raven, though. I didn't even see it in an episode until I picked up the DVDs. Just strictly reinforced how great of a character Calhoun was and how great of a vehicle Raven was. Number 2, M.A.S.K, Pontiac, and Submarine. Vehicle code name, Shark. Shark. The great shark hunt of the M.A.S.K toy line. For some reason, our favorite toy makers were just... Our favorite toy makers and designers never made the women. Or if they did, it was Masters of the Universe, and it's because it was Teela, Evil Lynn, the Sorceress, and that was about it. But, I mean, Cops had Mainframe, Mirage, Misdemeanor, and Nightshade. M.A.S.K had Gloria Baker on the side of M.A.S.K and Vanessa on the side of V.E.N.O.M, and they finally did make Manta and Vanessa as part of Series 3. When they finally made Gloria, they coupled her with with something called Stiletto, which happens to be the name of Sly Rax's mask, but that's neither here nor there. Shark was a great vehicle, had a great transformation, and Gloria, man. She was a good character for the series, was in a vast majority of it, was in a lot of episodes, not nearly as many as Bruce or obviously Mac, but Kenner, they dropped the ball when they did not give us a shark. Apparently, if I had my druthers and the money for this, I would park one in my garage to make up for it. Well, that was 10 through 2. And if we're going to talk about some honorable mentions, there was Venom's... It's either called Scorpion or Stinger, depending on what the episode is, and I can't remember what the toy was called. Stinger, GTO, and Tank. Or there was the Volcano Van, I don't know, Tank. Apparently half the M.A.S.K vehicles became tanks, to make up for the third of them that became water vehicles and the third of them that became jets. Great. Yep. Stinger was great. Volcano was great. If I'm going to talk about the one-shot Venom vehicles like Magma Mole or Blackout, then Blackout should make the list. Blackout should be an honorable mention. Magma Mole, not so much. Great episode, kind of a lousy vehicle. Number 1, if I'm building my garage of M.A.S.K vehicles, if you followed M.A.S.K, if you followed M.A.S.K at all, you knew this was coming, since I already warned you that Switchblade wasn't on the list. Number 1, M.A.S.K, Camaro, Jet, vehicle code name, Thunderhawk. Thunderhawk. Great vehicle. Lousy design. It was a gull-wing jet. How exactly do you stay safe in something like this? A strictly enforced seatbelt policy? Very, very strictly enforced? But I mean, it's a beautiful vehicle. I mean, the red Camaro, even in its transformed state, there was something to it. I mean, that should be the body of M.A.S.K, would be Thunderhawk, but a truck with a bunch of bombs coming out of it just looks cooler. Here I go again, making a top 10 list and dumping all over number 1. I don't get it. Well, anyway, that's my M.A.S.K garage. That would be my M.A.S.K garage if I had the money, if you could have a 10 vehicle garage, and if the M.A.S.K vehicles were remotely real, or feasible, or practical. I'm Kent Brindley. Stay safe.